Zelensky urges world leaders to act over apparent beheading videos. Belarus extradites Russian man whose daughter drew anti-war pictures. Volodymyr Zelensky has urged world leaders to take action after horrific video showing what appears to be Russian forces executing a Ukrainian prisoner of war who is lying on the ground surfaced on Wednesday. The evil footage, according to the president of Ukraine, must not be ignored by the world, The Guardian has not been able to confirm. A Russian parent who was separated from his daughter and given a 2-year prison term after she created anti-war artwork in school has been deported by Belarus. A 54-year-old single parent from Yefremov, 150 miles south of Moscow, named Alexei Moskalyov, escaped from house detention last month just hours before a judge sentenced him to 2 years in prison for discrediting the Russian army. The UN said it was appalled by particularly gruesome videos spreading on social media, and the EU has vowed to pursue anyone accountable for war crimes in Ukraine. In order to strengthen Ukraine's energy and heating infrastructure, the World Bank announced on Wednesday that it will finance $200 million. As the initiative grows, additional partners and donors will contribute another $300 million. The financial fixers who are accused of aiding Russian oligarchs Roman Abramovich and Alisher Usmanov in concealing their assets have been sanctioned by the UK government. According to Jeremy Hunt, the British finance minister, Britain is prepared to guarantee a further $500 million in loans to Ukraine, bringing the total amount this year to $1 billion. According to Hunt, the British loan guarantees were crucial in securing a larger, 4-year IMF support package worth $15.6 billion. Additionally, the U.S. placed penalties on more than 120 people and organizations globally for their involvement in Russia's war in Ukraine. More than 20 countries and jurisdictions were the subject of the penalties against individuals and organizations. In what it described as a tit-for-tat response to Canada's sanctions against Moscow and backing for Ukraine, Russia imposed penalties on 333 Canadian public officials and figures. The military of Ukraine has once more denied Russian claims that they have over 80% of the beleaguered city of Bakhmut under their control. The Eastern Military Command spokeswoman, Serhiy Cherevadii, asserted on Wednesday that Ukrainian forces held considerably more than 20% of it in the east. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, its forces attacked Ukrainian army reserves that were trying to enter Bakhmut. Additionally, it stated that in their bid to grab control of the city, soldiers from Russia's private Wagner mercenary company had taken 3 additional blocks. There was no proof of the assertions. Before a hotly expected Ukrainian counteroffensive in the next weeks, Russia has strengthened its conscription regulations, adopting electronic military draft paperwork among other changes. Legislation that will make it much tougher for Russians to avoid the draft and automatically bar registered conscripts from fleeing the country was hurriedly passed by the lower and upper houses of parliament. According to the Russian-appointed leader of Crimea, the traditional military parades to commemorate Victory Day and May Day have been cancelled by the authority that Russia has established in the annexation of Crimea and the city of Sevastopol, citing security concerns. The declaration made by Sergei Aksyonov on Wednesday came the day after he claimed that Russian military had constructed modern, in-depth defenses and that Crimea was on guard. According to a top-secret Pentagon dossier, Serbia has committed to or has already transferred armaments to Kiev. One of the only nations in Europe to refrain from imposing sanctions on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine is Serbia. According to reports, South Korea has agreed to lend the U.S. 500,000 artillery rounds as Seoul works to reduce the likelihood that the ammunition will wind up in Ukraine, a decision that might draw local criticism of President Yoon Suk-yeol. South Africa has said that an international arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin over the Ukraine war was a spanner in the works before a BRICS summit in the country in August. The Russian president is due to attend a summit of BRICS countries, but the host nation is a member of the International Criminal Court and would be expected to make the arrest if Putin steps foot in the country. The German government is very worried about the jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's worsening health condition, a government spokesperson has said. Navalny's spokesperson on Tuesday said he had lost 8 kilograms in 16 days while in solitary confinement, and that he was not receiving any treatment.